Hello, everybody. Welcome to Your Best Whole New World. Today on Creating Love with Melody Chadamoyo, we're going to do things just a little differently. It's like if you're feeling the energies, you can sense that something dramatically different is going on in the world right now. There's a huge shift that's happening. And so we're going to change tables. Instead of me asking Melody questions, Melody is going to ask me questions.
Yes, hi everyone. So it's over a year now since we started talking, right?
Actually, I think we started our first conversation was just the end of July before you were heading to go to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Before the girls had to go to Zimbabwe, but at the time, because we were wanting to get at least 3 parts done, I think.
Okay, right.
So pretty close. Like we've been doing this a long
time. So in that long time, what has been your best lesson so far?
Well, I always go back to the first 7-part series that you did, Opening the Heart. For me, I feel that was the opening, just what it is. And because I remember you saying a few things back then that were like, oh, the little light bulb went on. I hadn't seen it that way before. Okay. And we talk about change. I'm just looking now and going, okay, was that 2 raindrops or is it more? Because
are you outside?
I am outside, and we'll just see. Go that way, around me.
Yes.
And so the first thing I would say is that I was open to listening to you, right?
Yes, that's important.
Opening to listening and open to taking the coaching. That is the other part. And I really did throw things at you in those original conversations of, in a sense, over dramatizing my past to really so you could hit home with the nuggets. And one of those ones and it's difficult to go back, right? I'm sure you feel the same way. What were you like back then? Because now you're different.
Yes. So I would say I'm very different.
Right. So I realized some of the things that stick out in my mind were when you were talking about guys like to figure things out on their own. Or Trey used to just sometimes sit quietly. And he'd sit quietly for days sometimes and mull something over. And that one was a light bulb for me. So there was no way that probably it just straight off coaching, we would have gotten that like one particular conversation because I wouldn't have admitted that I'm jumping down the guy's throat. Like, what? Haven't you got the answer yet? But since one of the things I guess that I realized in our talk is that, and even with my kids right now, is that I have always, since I've been on this spiritual journey for 30 years, is been there to help people. Yeah. So that has become overemphasized or too much and taken into a relationship, which was like, I'll help you, but you've told me the guy's got to figure it out on his own.
Yes, he does.
Right? And that was like, that makes so much sense. How great of a guy can he be if I'm always the one saying, oh, I can help you figure that out? Like, how does that make him feel good?
Oh, that's so good.
Right? And so I thought about that, and I've been able to let people come and go and realize, you know what? I can see what their next step is. Yeah. Like, it's very, very clear to me that I can see it and I can feel it. But what I've also learned in my own growth is that although it's just like you might know the right thing for someone to do, or I'll give you a better example. This is what sometimes people go to a psychic or a tarot card reader.
Yes.
Right? And they want an answer. And the answer might be, your career is going to blossom. Okay.
Yeah.
But what isn't revealed is how is that career going to blossom, right? How is that journey going to occur? So there might be an end result in the answer. People might see each other go, oh, yes, we're going to be together. I see that. But how that's going to happen and what's going to transpire in the process, that's the real juice of a relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So the journey.
It's the journey. And sometimes you might feel, as women, sometimes we feel that, like that, he's not making the decision. And we get into a fear mode. Maybe he doesn't love me. Maybe he's got this and maybe he's got that. And we don't just want to sit with it and wait. And, have faith that things will work out. And even if things don't work out, you will be okay. You will be okay. If he decides after that whole cave thing and he comes out of the cave and he says, well, I don't think this is what I want, you will still be okay. Yeah, I think that's the most important lesson I've learned, because while I was coaching you, I was also learning, not just learning about being a coach, but also learning about what do I really believe. I can't say things that I can't stand over. I can't say things that I don't totally believe. Right. So everything I am saying to you is what I would do.
Right.
Or what I have done.
Yeah. And that's so relevant. So I know when I was in my career, I prided myself on making decisions really quickly because I had a strong intuition, which makes sense with what I do. But in business, it was just like, okay, so when people wanted to debate and have 2-hour meetings on, do we stretch ourselves and do this type of advertising or marketing? It was like, no, no, we're going to do it this way. Or yes, we're going to do it that way. We don't need to discuss it. So I realized that that's how I carried over into a relationship. There was never a pause. It was like chocolate or vanilla. You don't have time to debate. It's like, just pick it. What do you mean you got to mull it over, right? It should just, you should just know. You should be able to trust your intuition, like get over it. And so I can see hopes there. And I do operate that way with my clients at times. There's a time to just say enough, pick. But there's a time to say, you know what, you've got to go your separate way now. And maybe one day we'll come back again. Because you're on a pause. You're on a place where you need to get your own roots on your own. Yeah. And I see that's what I've never really done with the guy.
Okay.
Like in one respect, I've picked one that I could learn something from. So I could feel still, having to catch up to them. There was always, whether it was the tennis pro or the golf pro or the guy that was 10 years older than me in business, like there was somebody that had achieved something that I hadn't, so I could learn something, but that also told me that really I was feeling like that was the pattern of still not being good enough, in a very subtle way, right? Justifying it, but really saying, okay, this satisfies that I'm not good enough because you're better than me at this. So that was it, and just really being those ones, and then the time you challenged us to a date.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I could just feel that whole word date was like, what that meant to me about playing small. So just in that one thing, when you said we can go have a date and a date can just be fun. And I was like, when is a date just fun? And then when I processed that and went on a walk and processed it all, I was like, yeah, a date can just be fun. And then the door knocked and there was the date, just having fun. Right. And And I think that's it is the relaxing in the process of being able just to honor a guy for who he is and decide if it even like it feels good or if I'm wanting to fix it or make it better, because that's another thing that I used to look at is this is great, this is good, but it'll be really good when I fix this.
Why did you feel you had to fix it?
Because I think that was my pattern from in my life, feeling that I was broken, right? Okay. In the sense, so I had to fix it. I had to get better, right? And that it was always an underlying current, and that would have been mirrored in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
So as much as I say, gee, I'm very grateful to my two previous husbands because they showed me a lot about, they took time out of their life to really allow me to see things about me, even though, they had their own stuff.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I think that's one of the, I had a person who, a prospective client who said to me, I made such bad choices. And I was thinking, actually, you don't make bad choices. You choose people that are going to help you to expand or realize that this is not what I want. This is what I want. You start to choose. The only problem appears, or the only problem becomes, or something becomes a problem when you realize what you don't want and you stay stuck in that you don't want mode. You don't make a choice. You don't realize, okay, I don't want this, I want this, so I'm going to go after what I want. You stay there because you feel obligated. You feel like you owe somebody something by staying, and you feel that, other people are going to be let down by your choices.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, that most people get stuck, and then they start saying, I make bad choices. Being with people and people taking their time to be with you is something you need to be grateful for. And if you find your relationship not going the way you want it to go, then you should think, okay, this is me. I'm choosing this. Mm-hmm. What would I rather have than this? And choose that instead. Right.
Yeah, and I would like to add that in both situations, my inner guidance, my intuition had the flag before I got married in either case. Yet I ignored it. That's why I'm so good at coaching people on inner guidance now, because I've had so many experiences where I totally was aware, especially in relationships, to say, but I was like, I think that was probably partially my upbringing, because I was raised as in a competitive environment. So it was like, you can always do better. Mm-hmm. So I remember with the person saying, I don't think you're into this, right? And I'm like, I can be into this, I can make. I don't trust you at all, but I can somehow figure out how I can trust you again and how I can fix this. So, I can work it and win at it, right? It's like, no. So I think that's like, when we go back to opening your heart, I feel there was so many gems in our beginning conversations, because you were first sharing your relationship.
Yeah.
And your relationship was completely different than my two relationships, or my two marriages. I've had many relationships. So your one marriage was completely different. And the fact that you had thought about divorce at one point, right? And what you did to overcome it and shift it gave me presence to say, yeah, I wanted to overcome it too, but I was never in that same position you were to begin with, right?
Yes.
So it's like, can you make, in a sense, can you turn a bowl of fruit that's already going rotten into good fruit? Like, you literally have to take the old fruit out and start again. And if you're both willing to do that, great. But you can't, rotten doesn't make green. No.
But I think you have to have a good foundation, a very strong, firm foundation before you can even, because if you started with I don't trust you, but I'm going to make myself trust you, then you don't have a good foundation.
No.
So whatever it is that's underneath there, which is unstable anyway, will not stand in your stead, will not help you to overcome, to make this rotting fruit become new again. I think you can, but depends on what do you have underneath in the first place. Yeah.
So one of the things also that I've realized is when you talked about communication, and I mean, I know there was that movie, he's just not into you and stuff like that when they talk about communication. But I think what you made clear was, there's the guy that's into you, and he wants to make you happy, right? He wants to be there for you, right? Yes. And he might take a break. He might need his silence. He might need to go in his cave. But you know that the commitment's there.
Yes.
And then there's the guy that you're wanting to turn into that guy.
Yeah.
Right? And I think when you put on those glasses to say, what do I really want?
Yeah.
Like, and not what I want, not the 6-pack, as people talk about, I want that.
It helps. Sometimes.
But it's like, what do you want? How do I want to feel? That was the difference, is how do I want to feel in the relationship? And that was, I guess, the other big gem was I realized like being with Destiny today, it's like I like our relationship, right? Yeah. Being with other people, I like being in that friendship and that camaraderie. Yeah. So I want that in a relationship. Yeah. To be supported and encouraged for who I am and nothing else. And so why would I want to be with somebody that didn't support that, right? Exactly. That didn't honor just who I am. And when I started to realize that I got to make that choice, and that brings probably a smaller percentage of the world because, I am pretty awesome.
Of course you are.
We all are. But when we realize that, then, and you trust the process, it's like, it's okay to be discerning. It's okay to say, you're a great guy. You're a great guy. You're just not the guy for me.
Yeah. You're just not great for me. You're not for me. You're for someone else. You're great for someone else.
I was at the gas station yesterday. I had to ask for get gas, and then I had to ask for directions. And the man there, he had the most gorgeous blue eyes, right? Gorgeous blue eyes, right? And he told me the directions, and then I just said, you have the most gorgeous blue eyes, like you really do. And he broke out into a huge smile, and I'm like, and your smile's pretty good too. And I was just like, I just want you to know that, right? And I just felt really good to just be able to tell him that without saying anything else, right? It was just like acknowledging a beautiful tree. He was like this when he lit up the smile. I was like, yeah, okay, that's great. But it didn't create any like, oh, here's my number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's my number. Call me, baby.
Did he appreciate the appreciation?
Yes, he was very like, thank you.
I'm sure you made this day, because that doesn't happen often. I'm sure.
I don't know. Those are the things, is I think if we can honor each other for who we are. And I guess that's what I'm realizing, that it's okay for me to be able to honor people, like the difference between flirting and just really being genuine.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a fine line. And when I used to be a flirt, then it's like, pulling them along, right? I was,
yeah.
And I was justified. I'm just flirting, but I really was kind of dragging the hook.
Oh, you're such a good student. You're reminding me of so many things I said so that I'd forgotten. So as like if you didn't know me and you were looking for someone to coach you in this area, would I be in the running at all?
Well, here's the scoop. I
Yeah.
I got to know you through the 7-part series Opening Your Heart.
Yes.
So that's why I feel like when people say, "Oh, I've got an issue," and I say, "Go watch Melody's Opening Your Heart series."
Yeah.
And I feel if somebody actually watched those 7 parts, they're going to, first of all, get gems. They're going to get gems and go, "Oh, wow, I had no idea." And that may be the only place that they can go right now for financially, or just that's enough for them to process, because it's just planted enough seeds. But if they watch that and they go, I'd like more ahas, then it's easy for them to just say, you know what, I'd like to take advantage of a session. And I hope that in that, that you have like something that happens after the 7-part series that says you watch the 7-part series and you can answer ABC questions, so you know that they watched it, then you get a discount on your first coaching session.
Yeah. I think I do. I have to go check that. I think I do, yes.
Yeah, because the thing is, like when we talk about, it's great to have all the verbiage on the website, okay? My personal experience is that a lot of websites are even done by copywriters. And what is being said on the website and how the person really is being, or what they're channeling, can be completely different. So it's great to say, I'm one step ahead of someone else so I can coach you. Because if I'm ahead of you, I can open the door. But am I really going to give you the best direction when you walk out the door? I feel that people need to start to really connect inside themselves and say, I want a mentor and a coach that really's been there, has, you've been to the point where you wanted to have a divorce, and then you came back and had a great relationship. And then as you were grieving for his passing, you were told by professionals you had a special relationship.
Yeah.
And you were like, what? You had, they deal with people all the time and they're telling you you're unique and different. That this isn't rare. So it's different than somebody just saying, I've been married for 30 years and it's been great ever since. Well, you know what? That time that you have the issue, whether it's a child dying, which you also experienced with your miscarriages, right? All these things in life is you need to have had them to go through them. And that, from my perspective, is why we teach, or we help those, because of your experiences, to have gone through and over those humps and hurdles and obstacles, that you've had the personal experience, so you can connect and say, it's really going to be okay. It's like myself, if I had to, if I ever actually really did a full-fledged website, because mine is kind of, just there to say, you can find me, is there would be a list of, people say, do I leave my career? It's like, oh, I don't know if I should leave my money. Well, oh my gosh, like I still shake my head. I go, that was over almost 30 years ago that was the decision that was made. So it's been 30 years, 1991. What was 1991? So that's 20, how many years is that? 27 years.
27
so
years.
27 years that I've lived, without having a corporate income. So it's not like I've done it for 2 years. It's not like I just started my online business. Like I have lived and enjoyed my life for 27 years. So how about my kids, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Have I had broken relationships? Yes. Can I teach you about relationships? No, because that's why I come here to talk to Melody.
And I think, what we sometimes forget is that while I know a lot about relationships, we don't stop learning.
Right.
We don't, I'm not saying there's something missing, but I think what love does to us or for us, it helps us to expand. So every time you're going through an issue, I say I'm a relationship expert, but there are times when I struggle with my sister or my kids or whatever. And then I start asking my questions, What am I to learn here? What's supposed to happen within me? That has nothing to do with them. That then we can connect more. Mm-hmm. And once I deal with that issue personally, we just go back and we reconnect, and everything works. But I understand that sometimes people think a beautiful life means a life without conflict or a life without disagreement. It's not that. It's you have the disagreements, you have the conflicts, but it's how you handle them.
Yes.
That's going to make you expand and grow or shrink and die slowly.
Right. You keep your joy and your peace in the process. Right? Yes. It's like I was last night. So clear, perfectly clear sky, and I could feel the intense energies, but the almost full moon was up, just coming up. The sun had just set. Venus was over to the one side. Jupiter was up above, and I'm told Saturn was right by the moon, but I couldn't see it. All I knew was it was silence, and I'm there standing, and the presence of the energies was like, I felt like something was just going to be blown up in the earth. Like it was just like something was exploding in ways that we hadn't. And I was just grounding, like pulling this energy in, just like the volcano in Hawaii. It's still erupting.
Yeah.
So it's to feel all that, but to be in peace and comfortable with what's going on.
Yes. And not to say, why is this happening to me, or why blah, blah, blah. I could do that. I could ask the why question, and I think I'm justified. I've gone through almost everything that most people haven't gone through what I've gone through, actually.
Right.
And I could ask the question why, but I don't think that's going to save me or anyone for that matter, because it's not the why of what has happened in my life. It's how I live with it. It's how I handle it day to day. It's choosing joy every time. It's saying, okay, this is happening now. I don't know how I'm going to find the other side of joy that I want to get to. But for now, I will be what I will be.
Yes. So you're going to talk more about that, because why question is like a spiral downward, where what do I do next is a better question, because I'm really feeling these things are going to start to come, and these raindrops. But I just thought when you were talking there about experiencing and knowing what you experience, there's a little bird, and the two of them have made a nest in the logs, like behind me, but over on the other side.
Yeah.
So this idea where we have these things this is how things are supposed to work. We think of birds having nests up in the trees.
Yes.
Right? This hasn't. They found this little space in between the two logs, and they're going in and out. Yeah. Now, I've never known a bird to do, to have, right? But that's what they're doing. And this is how life is happening. Things are changing. We're doing it differently. And if you are watching this and you are going, yeah, I don't know anything about this Opening Your Heart series. So Melody's going to put the link down again. You're going to watch it again. You're going to go through it and be honest with yourself and notice your own triggers, because that's what worked. Is I was totally honest with Melody about saying, what? I used to make him wrong all the time. I'm not supposed to do that? No. That's not going to win me brownie points, even though I was right. No. So, yes, it's very helpful, because it's all about here. If you don't have the relationship you want, change starts here.
Yes. I'm so grateful to your honesty. I'm so grateful to your sense of humor, because I love it. And because we wing it. We don't have a script. We just talk. Even now we're just talking. And that is the most amazing gift ever, because we come up with gems that are fabulous, and they have helped me. I'm growing as I'm talking to you, as a coach, as a mother, as a person. And you challenged me about dating as well, because I had never dated in my life, and I didn't even think about the fact that was I open to dating or was I not open to dating. And now I know I'm open to meeting someone. I still don't know how I would date, because I've never done it before, but I'm open to trying it and learning and doing it. If, and see how it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stay tuned next week. Melody's going to tell us how her dating went this week.
Yes, I'll go out. If I meet someone to go dating with me, that's fine. I've been going out a lot, actually. I've been playing a lot. You taught me that.
That's it, playing.
Thank you.
Yes, playing. And it's okay when you're playing to say no on the text. No. Okay? No. Yes. No is a full sentence. No. And the rain is coming, so I'm saying, I love you all, but I'm going.
Love you.
See you later. Bye.